Hello, Bucks fans. Welcome back to Real Bucks Talk. In today's video, we are going to have a discussion about potential versus production. And Jason Light actually went into this topic in his press conference last week with the Bucks media, and just listening to him, it just makes me think about how there's different ways of grading these players, because he put it in a great aspect of looking at it, from a lot of these guys are raw and have potential, but it's just how can you maximize that said potential, and also grading other than just stats that we tend to look at, and a big question that brings to is Chop Robinson. You hear about the lack of production, but again, has extreme athletic ability with his traits, and every measurables. So it makes you wonder, can this guy be a better pro than he was college player? And we've seen some cases with that. But let's take a listen to what Jason Light had to say about the risk and reward with potential versus production.
Production versus potential, especially when it's those higher picks. Like I feel like it's a little easier to do that later on because everybody's going to have some kind of a hole, which is why they're typically selected later on. But in those, the first two rounds, how do you kind of balance with, okay, this guy maybe didn't have as much sack production in college, but we think it's because maybe he was, he hadn't quite learned some of these pass rush techniques. We just need to get our hands on him as a coaching staff. Like, how do you balance that when it's these high picks?
I think with all players, we don't necessarily. I mean, you look at the stats. They're good to look at, but you look at just the raw skill and the potential, and they're all raw at this point. There's very few that are just the complete product. So I think you just have to look at the potential for all of them, and we have ways of grading other than production.
Yeah, so there you have it. Other ways of grading than just production. I thought that was a great point made by Jason, talking about the players and how most of them coming into the league, and that is very true that they are very, raw. And you look at the skill set, you look at the potential of the prospect, and you hope that he can become that vision of a player that you saw when you selected him. And it makes me go back to, this is Logan Hall here, and you see his numbers in college. Again, not very good production, but they looked at his size, 6'6", about 290, with length and athleticism. And they feel still that they can coach this guy up and hopefully become reliable defensive player for them. Haven't seen it yet on the field, so it just makes you wonder. And then um, you go to Joe Tryon Shoinka as well, and you look at his numbers. Again, not a lot of production in college. 9 sacks total altogether, but they saw the athletic ability. They saw a 6'5", 260. Good speed and athleticism, has some pass rush upside and potential, and they thought he would be worth a first round selection. And then you just compare that to Kalijah Cansey, who showed he was a good player on tape, had consistency as you saw the production there, showed disruption as a player, and ended up being 19th overall pick. And we've already seen the impact that Kalijah Cansey has made in year one and should skyrocket again in year two, and get better. So it just shows you, like, yeah, potential is good, but also having that production to back it up can make a difference. And I think we saw that with Kalijah, who showed he was ready to play from day one. So it makes you wonder about Chop Robinson. Again, only 6 sacks of production throughout his college career, not a lot. Um, and it makes you wonder. But when you see the tapes and you see the flashes here, the burst of speed, the ability to bend, the athleticism is really on display, for him to make plays in the backfield. So it just it makes me wonder if he is going to be a real consideration, if available at 26, and definitely could be in play. So Yeah, it's always, that debate that's, could be come into could be an issue, or, everyone views it different. I'm more of, you need production, showed on college tape, and also just showing that you're a good football player consistently. I think that's the big thing. But I mean, here, just watching this, you see the upside with Chop Robinson. It's just, do the Bucks feel confident enough in their coaching staff that they can make this guy a difference maker, that can be a consistent player for you, yearly? That's going to be the question with Chop. But great points made by Jason Light and company. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they attack this draft coming up. And do they, you know, go back to drafting production like they did with Kalijah Cansey, or will they take another upside player like they've done in the past before? Remains to be seen. But hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit the like button. Comment down below your thoughts on what Jason Light had to say about potential versus production. What do you think the Buccaneers are likely to do at 26? Let us know. And again, appreciate all the support. And with that said, until the next one.